So the gloves are certainly off. Kangana Ranaut, actor and MP, has made certain, should I call them colorful comments, calling Gen Z generation gutter. Uh, and Sourav Das, the spokesperson of the CJP, has obviously responded and very sensibly. Others have weighed in. Actor Shatrughan Sinha has weighed in. Sonu Sood has weighed in. I think Generation Gutter, I think she took the cockroach analogy maybe a bit too seriously. But Rashita, what are your thoughts on all this, the internet war which is going on right now?
Uh, you know, I feel it's very funny that somebody like Kangana is making these remarks because isn't she the same woman, same actress who made her entire identity on women empowerment and standing for what's right and independence through her film Queen in 2014, and came across as somebody who's very progressive, who supports the rights of women, and today making remarks like not only generation gutter, that's not even the most problematic part. The most problematic part, in fact, is her calling some of the women in the protest so ugly that they can't even make for homemakers, reducing the all the homemakers out there. She's reduced their job to nothing, like you're not even good for that. So I think she of course has raged a lot of people, especially the Gen Z's, and there have been so many protests in fact going on. I just saw a Congress protest. The Mahila Congress party was protesting, saying istifa do to Kangana. So of course, we'll talk more about that. But what do you think? Because you have followed, what Saurav Das has said. You have, of course, followed that thoroughly.
So see, let's get into the details exactly of what she said and then what Saurav has replied. And I must say, I am quite impressed with Saurav, the way he conducts himself and the way he conducts press
Yeah.
conferences and interactions with the media. So she said, never in my life have I seen so much ugliness in one place. These reels from Gen Z protests are puke inducing. The way they speak and the kind of language they are using, never in my life. And then you who is birthing and raising them. So to that, Saurabh obviously has he's called her that these don't seem to be the words of someone who's mentally stable.
Yeah.
Someone like that should not use this kind of language. And if there is a young person in your family, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever the new terms are, would you be using such terms for them? He also called her out on the fact that members saying that members of her own party do not treat her seriously. And he also mentioned that when she had visited a constituency in Himachal Pradesh,
Hmm.
she had said that she had expected her job to have much less work, not so much work. To which then she also responded a lot of Insta stories saying that yes, that she's been in the acting profession for the last 20 years, politician only for the last 2 years, but she is also a performing artist, producer, screenwriter, entrepreneur, and she's got 2 national awards, which Saurabh, you do not have national awards. That is very disappointing. And then she said that that is why when she had come into politics, because she was managing all these things also, so it was something which was new for her. So Saurav, however, has made this one comment among all the other comments and replies which he has made. I think that is the one which is probably going to sting the most. This is when he was talking to Barkha Dutt on the Mojo story, saying that um, this was his exact comment, that his friends asked him, "Why is she after your life?" And he replied, "Is it because maybe I look a little bit like Hrithik Roshan?"
Yeah, the young
uh,
Hrithik Roshan. Yeah.
the young Hrithik Roshan, and he's replied to that. So this is basically the sort of statements which have been ongoing over here
Yeah.
between Kangana and Saurav.
Yeah, today, in fact, even Sonu Sood has spoken about this, and he said, I didn't know about this statement, but if she's made these statements, it's absolutely shameful. That's what he said. And he said that you should think and speak. And I think that is exactly what's missing, because Kangana has not, she's doubled down on these comments. She's again gone on Instagram and, said that she, in fact, stands by what she has said. So
Hmm.
even when she has had the time to rethink, to come out and, to sort of apologize, she didn't. In fact, she's after Rahul Gandhi's life now, saying you should apologize for the remarks you've made on Amit Shah, holding him responsible for whatever happened on July 20th at Jantar Mantar, whatever the police brutality happened. And a lot of people on social media are now questioning her that if he has to apologize, you also have to, say sorry, because you've really insulted an entire generation, not only them but also their parents. And I think a lot of people now are coming up on the internet and talking about this, including, of course, actors like Sonu Sood. And I think a lot of more people will raise their voice against it. I saw a video of Shatrughan Sinha also talking about, this debate and Kangana and Rahul and everything. So, yeah, I think it's time we should be a little more sensitive towards what we say. And I completely understand that there's freedom of speech. But then when you get so much of backlash, I think you should take some accountability, which has, of course, become the new term through these protests.
Which is, I think, the freedom of speech which Kangana also has sort of raised, that these are the kind of slogans which the students should not have been raising. I think that is one of the issues which she had sort of raised. And like you said, I think Sonu Sood first said that he first started off on a sort of a diplomatic note, taking the holistic view in charge, saying that the people are the ones who make us actors and whoever we are. Then someone told him what Kangana had mentioned, that she had called them generation gutter. I mean, that's 100%. When these people go on protests again, they are definitely going to make placards with Kangana and generation gutter written, because the way Gen Z have made their memes, this is definitely, so to say, loading that's one way of putting it, which will also find in their online memes and in their placards which they're going to make. She's going to come back over there. So then when somebody told him that, this is what she said, he said that, oh, this is, like you mentioned, what she said, that is shameful. She should not have said that. And then, like you said, Shatrughan Sinha, of course, Shatrughan Sinha, his daughter, actress Sonakshi Sinha, she was very vociferous in her support for Gen Z during the protests, and gave a very jubilatory sort of a video message when Dharmendra Pradhan had finally resigned, which nobody really was expecting that time, that this is something which is going to happen. To end with, unless you want to add something else, I think he also, Sourav, in one of his Instagram stories also said that, yo Kangana, just take a chill pill, right? Let's talk this out. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Adding the point that the problem in this country, which I definitely do agree with him on that part, is that people don't talk anymore.
Yeah.
There are too many knee-jerk reactions. You see something on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or a video and you just react. True. You do not do a background check. You do not do any research. You just go guns blazing onto the person. And I'm not even talking about social media. I see this in my own personal life also, in interactions with people. I don't know. I am just, the last time when I've been allowed to finish two sentences, when I'm talking to people, they just butt in and they don't even realize it. And then I'm looking at them and they still don't realize it. So, then you have to say, like, maybe do some vipassana or something and let me finish, let me make my point. So that is what he's probably trying to say. That's that true. We need to think, we need to discuss, we need to talk about things rather than just attacking each other on these points. But Sourav does conduct himself very well with whatever kind of interactions he's done with the media. Now it has to be seen how Kangana might respond to this. As of right now, as of the shooting of this video, maybe she must have already responded. How old was her last statement or story?
It was just yesterday at the parliament. She said that I stand by what I said, and if you are going to, talk about our 75-year-old prime minister, so in such a nasty way, then I will have to. Who are these people? And she, in fact, said we have also done student protests in our times, but we had so much of shame and so much of sensibility because we knew we were being recorded. So we were very conscious of what we said and what we did, which is missing from this generation, is what she said. I think she's made some really regressive remarks, and somebody like her who has literally, as I said, built her career on, standing for what's right and being so outspoken, and often fought with the entire industry alone, saying that just because I'm a woman, you can't shut me. Her coming and shutting so many people, especially women, and calling their, their independence now very fake, is something that I think shouldn't be so acceptable.
So, till the time she was talking about the fact that certain statements have been made regarding the Prime Minister which should not have been made, there she was going fine. There she was
Correct.
going right. She was
Yes.
on the right track. Where she sort of lost the track is whenever that homemaker comment which she
Correct.
made, that they are ugly, they can't be homemakers. Digressing from that, then the whole generation gut. I think that's where she sort of I think went off track, and that is what the main criticism, of course, has been against. Then, of course, there are other comments which people have made that when did you go on protest? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe now she'll come out with some photos of the
Photos,
times
yeah.
when she had gone on protest
Yeah.
and put those out. What can I say? I guess this is the developing story. That's what it is.
That's true.
How
But we'll of course we'll have to wait and watch how Kangana, maybe 2 days later, 3 days later she does apologize for what she said, or maybe adds on more to what she has already said. But I think we'll just have to wait and watch on that. But thank you so much, Kabir, for joining in. This was a healthy discussion that we've had today. And if you like such videos, do not forget to subscribe to FPJ Showbiz. Thanks for watching.